Philippians chapter 3 verse 10 part A. That I may know him and the power of his resurrection. That I may know him and the power of his resurrection. Now, if we are to take a look at this whole chapter of Philippians chapter 3, we see that the Apostle Paul was actually a religious man before he met Jesus Christ, before he had an encounter with Jesus. We are told that Paul had actually been circumcised on the 8th day, as was expected on every Jewish boy, as was expected on every Hebrew boy. And we also learn that Paul, according to the law, he belonged to the sect of the Pharisees. And according to the law, Paul describes himself as blameless. And he actually tells us that out of zeal, out of religious zeal, he persecuted the church. He persecuted the believers who believed in Jesus Christ. So according to the Jewish tradition, according to the law, Paul was someone who was regarded as a righteous man. He was someone who was held in high regard. He was someone who was respected. He was someone of dignity. He was someone who was spotless and blameless in his life. But when Paul had an encounter with Jesus Christ, it totally changed the course of his life. He came to the realization that there was something that was lacking in his life. He came to the realization that he was on a wrong path and he needed to start walking on a completely new path. And we hear Paul telling us that he considered his status according to the law a loss. He considered his status, his standing according to the law a loss. He considered it of no significance as compared to the excellence of the knowledge of Jesus Christ. That's when we then see him on verse 10 telling us that it is his desire to know Jesus Christ. It is his desire to know the power of his resurrection. It is his main desire. It is his main focus now to know Jesus Christ, to know the power of his resurrection. Why was it necessary? Why did Paul see a need for him to know Jesus Christ, to know the power of his resurrection? It is because as a servant of God, as an apostle of God, as a believer, the same power, that resurrection power, the same power that was at work in raising up Jesus from the dead, is the same power that was in him as a believer. It is the same power that is in us as believers. So he now knew the importance of pursuing knowledge of Jesus Christ. He now knew the importance of pursuing knowledge of the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. If we are to read the Bible, Ephesians chapter 1, we also see the Apostle Paul writing to the church that was at Ephesus, telling them that he is praying for them, that they may have a spirit of revelation in the knowledge of God. And on verse 19, we then see the Apostle Paul saying, that you may know the exceeding, the immeasurable greatness of his power toward you who believe. The same power that was exerted in raising up Jesus Christ from the dead. And now Jesus is sitting at the right hand of the Father. So Paul basically understood that the power that was exerted in raising up Jesus from the dead is the same power that is at work in our lives as believers. And as he describes it in Ephesians, he says the power, the exceeding greatness of his power. Other versions say the immeasurable greatness of his power, meaning to say this resurrection power is immeasurable. This resurrection power has no limit. This resurrection power has no ending. This resurrection power is infinite. This resurrection power is immeasurable. We can't put a measurement to it. We can't measure it in watts. We can't measure it in volts. It is immeasurable. There is no unit to measure the power that was exerted in rolling the stone away from the tomb of Jesus. It can't be compared. It can't be measured. The power that was exerted in raising up Jesus from the dead. And the Bible is saying it is the same power that is at work in our lives. It is the same power that is at work in the life of each and every believer. So verse 10 of Philippians chapter 3, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection. It is important as a believer to know the power of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because it is the power that is at work in your life. Now, because this power is immeasurable, it implies we need to continue digging deeper. We need to continue searching deeper. We need to continue pursuing knowledge of this power that was exerted in raising up Jesus from the dead. As believers, we need to continue seeking revelation for us to understand this resurrection power deeper and better. Because if we don't understand this resurrection power, the devil will take advantage of us as believers. Hosea 4 verse 6 says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So if you do not know the power, the resurrection power of Jesus Christ, which is the same power that is at work in your life, the devil will destroy you. The devil will take advantage of you. Demons will destroy you. Demonic influences, demonic forces will have influence upon your life. You will live in fear of demons. You will live in fear of witchcraft if you do not understand the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. So it is important as a child of God to seek knowledge. It is important as a child of God to pray for revelation, to fellowship with God, so that you may be acquainted with the resurrection power of Jesus Christ, so that you may know more of the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. The reason why maybe that sickness is tormenting you, the reason why maybe those demons are tormenting you, is because you are not developing your knowledge of the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. It is because you are not seeking revelation of the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. The resurrection power has no measure. The resurrection power has no limit. So we need to continue seeking. We need to continue developing our knowledge of that power that is at work in our lives, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection. Stay blessed.